Welcome to the Dynasty Dummies podcast. I am your host, Zach Reed, and today is a special Saturday solo edition of the Dynasty Dummies podcast. And it is going to be dedicated to my favorite part of fantasy football, my favorite thing that this community does. And it's coming up, and you've probably seen hashtag SFB12 if you're on Twitter. It's circulating. It's starting to percolate. We're starting to get excited about it. And SFB is the Scott Fish Bowl. And if you don't know what the Scott Fish Bowl is, have I got a treat for you? And if you do know, you know how exciting this is. So the Scott Fish Bowl is a huge pro-am charity, and that is underlined several times. That's the crux of this charity tournament. And it was started 12 years ago by Scott Fish at Scott Fish 24, and you should be following him if you're not. He is a fantastic follow, both as a fantasy football fan and as a fan of humanity and the best parts of humanity. Scott is an awesome guy. And so his timeline is equal parts fantasy football and just, great stuff. So you should be following him. But he started this 12 years ago when he was at the FF Oasis. It was the FF Oasis Invitational. It has morphed into the Scott Fish Bowl. It has gotten bigger every year. It's gravitated, brought in more and more charity over the years. It's started to spin off other tournaments. It started to have kind of legs of its own, and it's grown. And so it's become this really awesome part of the community. It's become my favorite thing that we do, not just as Dynasty, but the entire fantasy football community comes together in July in this tournament, and everything leading up to this, the Scott Fish Bowl. And so again, you're going to see hashtag SFB12 on Twitter a lot. You're going to see me retweeting people who have invites. You're going to see me retweeting people who are talking about the Scott Fish Bowl. You're going to start to see me retweeting the SFB Avi makers who make avatars for your Twitter account, Fish Bowl themed. But the only way to get into the Scott Fish Bowl is to be invited. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, wow, it's probably not me. I'm a nobody, or I'm just a small analyst, or whatever. Don't think that way. This is for the entire community. But in order to get invited to the Scott Fish Bowl, you need to go to scottfishbowl.com. And up at the top of scottfishbowl.com, there's a little link that says apply. And if you fill that out, that sends your information and your interest to Scott Fish. And he's got a crazy spreadsheet that he keeps track of everybody, how many times they've applied, how many times they've been invited. And that's where the invites come from. He's only sent out 45% of the invites as of this morning. There was a big wave yesterday. There was a first wave a few weeks ago, but only 45 of the invites have gone out. So you still have time to get invited, but you can't be invited unless you have signed up on scottfishbowl.com. You have clicked that apply button. You've put in your information. You put in your Twitter handle. You've shown an interest, and there are going to be a whole bunch of shows that give away Scott Fish Bowl invites. I still haven't talked to Scott yet. I hope that we get an invite to give away. I'd like to kind of do something fun with that, but I've been a little preoccupied. We had some family medical issues this past week, which is why I'm doing a solo show today rather than the traditional J. Mike and I record on Thursday and get it out to you for the weekend. I'm just trying to put something out there that is of interest that I can quickly. But there will be a bunch of invites given out by shows across the fantasy football space, big shows, small shows. So start looking for podcasts, start searching that SFB12 hashtag, because one of the cool things about this tournament is you get to play in a league, in a tournament with some of the biggest names in the industry and some big names that are not in the industry. So you end up in a league with Matthew Berry. You end up in a tournament with Stefania Bell. You end up playing against Liz Loza. You end up playing against Matt Harmon. You end up playing against the fantasy footballers. They're in here. Brandon Marianne Lee is in here. James Rode Rodriguez from Psych is in here. Tom Everett Scott, the drummer in That Thing You Do, is a huge fantasy football guy and a huge Scott Fishbowl guy. He's in this. Shane Battier has played in this tournament. And so it is this really cool time where you get access to analysts and celebrities that you might not normally have access to. Plus, you get to play with your favorite, smaller analysts, your favorite dynasty guys. Shane Manila's in here, Dynasty Outhouse is in here, Sal Lito's in here, the Majukes are in here. I mean, it's everybody who's anybody and everybody who wants to come in and be part of this and play in this tournament. And so that part is great. The best part for me is that it's free, but you're requested to make donations, and the donations have been incredible. The charity and the goodwill of this community over the past few years has been amazing. Over $100,000 worth of charitable giving in the last couple of years, and every year it gets bigger. Every year it gets better. Every year I see more and more tweets at Christmas time during those holidays of people going out using this money to buy toys for tots. Some of this money goes to food cupboards. Some of this money goes all over the place to people who need it. And that is the beauty, the overarching theme of this tournament has been that charitable giving, and it's what makes everything so great. And there are multiple ways you can give. There are multiple ways you can get involved. And I would say definitely get involved in this, even if you're not in the main event. Scott usually sets up satellite tournaments, which you have a chance to win an invite for next year, but you also have a chance to be part of this Scott Fishbowl. There are Fantasy Cares eliminators that are still going on right now. So if you go to sfb.com, there's a little eliminators tab. Sign up for those. You can get in leagues with your favorite analysts. J. Mike and I have one with the Dynasty Dummies that just filled. I may talk to John Bosch. It filled quick enough. Maybe we add another one. But this is a best ball, a 17-team best ball eliminator. So every week the lowest score gets eliminated. And it's just a little bit of charitable giving and a lot of fun because you get access to a DM thread with all of the people who are the celebrities. And I use that term loosely to some extent, but there are some actual celebrities. I know Heath Cummings has done 4 or 5 or 6 of these eliminators. The fantasy footballers do them. It's awesome. It's so much fun. I always jump in Liz Loza's because she's my absolute favorite. But there are so many of these eliminators, and look, give $10, give $5, give $20, give whatever you can, and have some fun. And some of these charity tournaments, the eliminators actually have prizes. I haven't talked to J. Mike yet, but I think we're going to give out a t-shirt for ours. And I think that I'm going to do a custom song for the winner. And so that'll be fun. Some of the others have t-shirts. They have giveaways of access to sites. They have, I know right now, John Bosch is running a giveaway through Bob Lung, who's the Fantasy Football Expo in Canton. They're giving away, if you enter the promo code LUNG, L-U-N-G, you have a chance to win a VIP package to the Fantasy Football Expo in Canton in August, which is a really cool giveaway. It's $75 if you buy it, but it's worth way more than $75. You get a ticket to the expo, you get a shirt, you get a bag, you get all of these swag items, and so like there are some really cool ways to get involved. There are also going to be shirts. And half of my wardrobe now is Scott Fishbowl t-shirts and RotoWear, who's fantastic. We'll do a couple of runs of Scott Fishbowl t-shirts, so you can get them there. ffpodshirts.storeenvy.com, which is Russ Fisher and his brain trust of artists. We'll come up with some t-shirts, I imagine, for the Scott Fishbowl. I bought a couple of those last year. He had a great Aerosmith, because the Scott Fishbowl last year was themed to music. And so there were a bunch of great band themed SFB 11 shirts. And Viridian Global is the other place where you can find t-shirts, but you can get involved that way. You can order these t-shirts. Part of the proceeds, or all of the proceeds, but the money will go to charity. The money goes right into Fantasy Cares, goes to Toys for Tots, it goes to food pantries, it goes to places where that money is needed. And you get a cool t-shirt, you get something to wear, something to represent the Scott Fishbowl. And so you can get involved that way. You can get involved with SFB Avi Makers, which I mentioned before. And for a donation, you can get a customized avatar for your Twitter handle. And I love that. I usually do both. I usually do an avatar and then the banner, because the guys over at SFB Avi Makers are fantastic. They do some great work, and it gets me kind of in the spirit, in the festivities. And that's something that you can do. Even if you're not in the main event, you can get a custom Avi if if you end up in one of the Fantasy Cares eliminators, or if you end up in one of the satellites. Do that. Get involved. And the other way to get involved with all of this, and this is awesome, this is so much fun. It's broadcast live on YouTube, but the Scott Fishbowl Podathon, which is hosted by Sal Lito, Kevin Cotillo, and Stephen Marcus. Plus, there are going to be a couple of the other DFPN network guys jump in and help, because this year it's going to be 36 hours. The Podathon goes live on YouTube. You'll be able to find it on Twitter. You'll be able to find it on Facebook. You'll be able to find it all over the place. And that's going to be July 9th and 10th. And this year it's going to be 36 hours. And what that looks like is a whole bunch of fantasy football analysts, a whole bunch of personalities, a whole bunch of big name analysts, a whole bunch of little guys will come on and make 15-minute or half an hour appearances over the course of this 36 hours. And the Podathon does not stop. It just goes and goes and goes, and you get the fantasy football goodness. You get to talk to your favorite analysts, some of my favorite people, and you're going to be able to get into live chat via YouTube, or maybe via Twitch, or wherever it gets streamed out. So you'll be able to interact with people. You'll also be able to watch live, which is so cool. And you get to kind of get in the spirit. And the Scott Fishbowl Podathon, it's a Podathon, so we're taking donations there. And all of those donations, again, go to Fantasy Cares, go to Toys for Tots, go to food pantries, go to places where that money is needed. And so you get to have 2 days, 2.5 days, or a day and a half now, of listening to fantasy football, discussing fantasy football, talking about fantasy football, talking about all this goodness that we do. You can give to charity, you can interact, and just have a good time. So that's another way to get involved. And the Scott Fishbowl draft, the actual draft, is only 50 days away, 50. So that's it. It starts in July. This year, Scott has done something interesting with SFB 12, where some of these drafts are going to be live. There are going to be certain cities that have live drafts. So not only can you get in the Scott Fishbowl, not only can you draft with a whole bunch of these analysts and others, but you can also potentially get into a live draft where you go and draft with people who are excited about fantasy football, excited about the Scott Fish Bowl, and excited about the charity aspect of it. You can go, you can meet some of these people, you can draft, and so if that's something that interests you, again, when you do your application for the Scott Fish Bowl, there's a drop down menu of live draft sites. Find one if that's something close to you, if it's something you want to do, check that out. And maybe you end up getting picked for a live draft. I know that there is one in Canton. I know there's one in Orlando. I know there's one in LA. I know that there is one in Minneapolis. I just saw the one for Boston come out. I'm really hoping that I end up getting selected for that. That would be so cool. But there are just so many ways to get involved in what to me is the best part of fantasy football, the best part of the community. It brings everybody together, and you see leading up to the Scott Fish Bowl how much positivity there is, how much community there is, how much we come together, how just awesome. I mean, it really is, and the the amount it has increased and just kind of exploded since the time that I was aware of it, which was like 5 or 6 years ago. I think I played in SFB 7. I did twas the night before Fishbowl for the Scott Fishbowl before that, and got really excited to see this community and to see the Scott Fishbowl expand, to see the charity expand, to see what we have put together, and with Scott Fish as the North Star, with Ryan McDowell helping him out at Ryan McD23. You should be following him. You should be following Scott. Russ Fisher now is helping them out at John Bosch FF. He does the Fantasy Cares Eliminators. Now it's gotten so big that he's not doing it by himself. He's got Bob Gilchrist helping. He's got Russ Fisher helping. He's got a whole kind of team of people, and Scott is at that point too, where things have gotten so big that there are teams of people now helping out, and it's a testament to, yes, Scott as the North Star, as kind of that compass showing us the way, but also a testament to the fantasy football community for picking up that mantle and running with it and joining. And it's been kind of a snowball downhill where it just keeps picking up more and more and more and more and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see the positivity. It's awesome to see the charity. It's awesome to see all of the people coming together across platforms, you know, whether they're daily fantasy guys or whether it's redraft guys or whether it's best ball guys or whether it's dynasty guys or whether it's Debbie guys, none of that matters. It's become this community event, this real it pulls everybody together, and it's awesome. And the past couple of years, Scott Fish has added wrinkles where kickers are now involved. And so that is, oh man, it's just so much fun. So Linda at Lindellians is the kicker queen. She has a weekly article that she puts out for now Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life that tells you what kickers should be scoring points week to week. So that's helpful. But this has become a thing. It's Scott tweaks and changes and adds and takes away little pieces of strategy, parts of the rules, parts of the scoring. So it's never the same scoring. It's never the same tournament year to year. But that's part of what makes it fun, because you see all of these big name analysts and you see everybody scrambling to try to figure out how to best succeed in the Scott Fish Bowl, and usually it's somebody who is a fan, because we're all fans, a fan that ends up near the top of this whole thing, which just goes to show you whether you're an analyst or not. This thing it's for everybody. It's for all of us. It's man, it's so much fun, and I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited to see the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we're going to raise. And I'm so excited to see the tweets, the pictures, the stories come out in November and December when the toys for tots get purchased, and you actually get to see the fruition of this entire thing. So again, I'm excited about it. I really hope you'll get excited about it. I really hope that you will join. You'll get in. You will sign up at scottfishbowl.com. You'll put in your application for the league, and even if you don't get in, sign up for the Fantasy Cares Eliminators. Sign up for the satellite leagues. Get a T-shirt. Get 2 T-shirts. Hell, half my wardrobe is those T-shirts. So get a few and be part of this community. And when you see hashtag SFB12 on Twitter, don't roll your eyes or don't scroll past it. Retweet it, get involved, get excited about it, because it is good. It is great. It's the best thing that fantasy football does. And you can be part of that. You can. And all you have to do to be part of it is just come in and get involved. That's it. That's all you have to do. You know, if you've got any graphic design skills, hit up the SFB Abbey Makers. They always need more people. Come in and help. You know, if you don't have skills like that, like I said, get in an eliminator, get in a satellite league, come in, give. You know, whether you have a whole bunch of excess funds that you can throw to charity, or if you don't have any, give a retweet. That's free. Spread the word. Just get involved, have fun, and be part of this, because it is the absolute best part of the community. It is that side of the community that when I first started playing fantasy football and doing Dynasty back in like 2013, 2014, doing the podcast starting in 2015, this is the side of the fantasy football community that I saw, that I fell in love with, that is just awesome. And so get involved, come be a part of it. Hashtag SFB12. Come join us. Come join your favorite analysts who are the big dogs. Come play with the little guys like me and J Mike and Russ, and just enjoy, get involved. scottfishbowl.com, the Scott Fishbowl 12. It's coming at you, 50 days till the draft. So get on scottfishbowl.com and sign up and enjoy, because it is going to be a blast. So I think that's what I got for you today. Like I said, short show, solo show, Saturday special show, but it's the Scott Fishbowl show. It's Scott Fishbowl coming at you, coming up. So if you see hashtag SFB12 on Twitter, you know what it is. You know to get excited about it. You know to retweet it, to amplify it, because every time you do that, you're doing good. And so I appreciate you listening. You should be following the DFPN network, all the guys over there, Sal, Kevin, and Steve. I mentioned them. They're going to be doing some yeoman's work with the Scott Fishbowl Podathon on the 9th and 10th of July, 36 hours. I think I'll probably be in the bullpen to give them a little bit of relief. I know Russ Fisher, J Mike have both talked about maybe stopping by to help out. You should be following them. Matt Foreman at Fat Mormon, FF Trader Joe, the man behind all of the handles, the man behind the brilliance. If you ever see anything funny, smart, something that makes you stop and think, that comes out of one of our handles, it's probably Joe behind it. He's the genius behind everybody here. Russ Fisher and Kyle Lebrecht at K Lebrecht. He's still kicking around. So follow those guys. And follow the DFPN network, because look, it's the only network in town, but it's also a family. We love it over here. Good bunch of guys, a lot of knowledge, and I appreciate you sticking with us, listening to this show. This has been the Dynasty Dummies.